Hello everyone, let's continue our journey. In this video, uh, let's continue with solving the project management proficiency test. Now I think we can escape this one for now and focus on project risk management and then maybe going for project weighting. Okay. According to the risk management plan, so the assumption is there is a risk management plan that already prepared. We have a risk, call it just risk A, and in this risk, if this risk happen, we need to have an extra task as per below. So basically what it is saying is they perform risk identification. They identified the risk, then they try to analyze the risk and they provided the proper response for that risk, and it ended up a decision. If this risk happen, if risk A happen, then they need to do a specific task, which is mentioned here as task R9. Okay, so please note this is not a particular task and only be active on the project if this risk happens. On project A, when we finish task 9, risk A may happen, and in this case we need to have task name, let me correct it, R9. Okay, this is the description of the task R9. This is phase 2 work package 4 and inside of the project A. Okay, and this is also for the resource assignment. So I need to open project A. Okay, task 9. Let me add a milestone. Risk A, for example, happened. I put it as a milestone. It's just an indication if the risk is happened or not. Okay, let me change the color to, you can use this one or you can just ignore it. It's not necessary to have it. Let me put it this way. But for now, let me just use it as an indication, because I'm using it as a milestone. I'm not going to assign a resource to this milestone. I just have it here to pointing if risk A happen, then I need to have another task which the name is R9, and R9, let me assign. So these two tasks, the second task R9 is conditional. Conditional means that it should be enabled and active on the project plan when the risk happen. If the risk is not happened, I don't need to have it in my plan. So calendar, project calendar. Okay, now let me check what it requires for this one. Location Tehran, value 1000, responsible Mustafa. Okay, so like other tasks, this one is for Mustafa. Location is Tehran. 100 or 1000, the value is 1000. Okay, but no but now. Okay, now resource assignment. Now let me check the resource assignment. This task is for the admin, okay, admin team, and they need to work on this task for 5 days and each day 1 hour. 5 days and each day 5 hours for admin. Okay, task usage, R9. resource find it. Budget. I don't need budget. Let me keep the budget here for now. But remember, if you want to put it's a work and you need to put it on the work. If work is not available on this view, you need to right click detail style and find and add it here. 5 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours, 5 days. Right? Okay, now. And this is its Tehran, so resource A, no, there wasn't cost rate table the same, no. Okay, so we're good, right? But it is mentioned these tasks should be enabled. Okay. Oh, I didn't provide the link here, and I didn't provide the link for this too. Okay, now good. Now we are good. So now I have a task linked to this risk if the risk happened. So if risk is not happened yet, it should not be active. So to cover this point, I can select the task and just inactivate it in my plan. It is exists in my plan, but for now it's inactive because it is required if the case in the case that risk A happen. And remember, if I think it didn't mention it's required to be a predecessor for the next task, but it's possible. Let me show you. For example, these also link to this one, and it is not creating a loop. I hope not. Now if I enable, what happened? If I enable this task, see, whole planning change. Okay, so whole planning change. All the predecessor tasks move because this task also require a duration to handle its and its predecessors. When it's enabled, it is also the predecessors for subtasks, other tasks. So let me put it inactive and remove this link. I don't want this link because it's not mentioned. I think I just wanted to show you in an example case to use inactive, and now you will see it. And when it's inactive, the cost nothing be calculated, but as soon as it's active, let me inactivate again. See, the value changed. It's like you insert this task into the project plan, but when it's inactive, it means you planned for it, but it remain inactive till a certain situation happen. In our example, that situation is the risk. If the risk happen, then I enable the task, and it will impact the duration, the cost, everything. Okay. So for now, I keep it inactive. Okay. Now you may say, what about the cost? Because this is a task that comes from a risk. We normally, when we do the risk management, we have two type of. We have for example, for the budget, when we do the budget, we have contingency plan. In contingency plan, we consider contingency budget. We consider these amounts, right? So let me see. But if I think it's. I don't think anything I can do. I'm not sure. I don't remember if in the plan later during the updating phase it is said the risk happened or not. But if it's happened, then we need to come back and revise the leveling and other stuff. But I think for now at this step we covered what is required. Forgot. Based on the resource, fixed cost 600,000. Let me see if it's inactive also. I can assign. Fixed cost resource. Fixed cost 1, fixed cost 2, fixed cost 3. Okay, how much? It was 600, not 6 million, 600. Yes, 0, 0. Okay. So I believe so far so good. Now let's start project waiting. If you remember, for each task we define a value. Now I want to use that value to basically calculate the value of the weight of each task and each summary task for the project and for the program. Now to do that, maybe I can add the value. The value was, let me check the number, right? Number 1. Yes, number 1 was value, right? Customize. Let me rename this to value and roll up sum. I'm doing this at a master plan so I can see the whole value for everything. So this is a value for project A, this is a value for project B, this is a value for project C, and in total I can see 9,930 value, right? It's a sum of everything. Now let me add another field, number 2. I want to make it I want to explain it slow, and I want to use multiple fields instead of using one field, just to you can also see how the custom fields also works in Microsoft Project. For number 2, let me go to the custom field, number 2, this section formula, and now let's say inside of this one I want to insert custom number custom number 1. Okay, so what it do is copy the exact value of the number 1, which is the value, inside of the number 2. Now what I want to do with that, now what I want is to divide this one by 9,930, the total value. Okay, and then I want to multiply by 100. Okay, let me check if it's working. No, it's not working. What happened to this one? Calculation should be correct, right? But this is not working. Let me try something else. Let me say, okay, please insert the value custom number 1. Okay, that's it. I don't want to do anything else, and it is not Microsoft. It's very basic and simple. Just put the value from this one and put it here. Okay, you don't want to do that? Let me test something else. Number 3, and for number 2 let me put 2 and here on number 3 it's just a test. And for number 3, field number, custom number 2, press OK, and it's not working. Let me see. Go to project A. Okay. Let me go to project A. I don't want to see this now. I don't want to see this. Let me add number 2. Number 2, custom field, formula, custom number 1. Can you do that? Now it worked on project file. It is not working on the main one, but it's okay. Let me see, how can I do this? How can I make it work for master plan as well? Let me try. Use formula, so it is bring everything. Okay, formula, but this value. Okay, let's try this. It's a sum of this one. Okay, but it is not accepting. Now I'm moving to ultimate, custom field number 1. Okay, use formula. Now it's working. Now seems like it's working for some reason. Let me try. And at the end multiply by 100. Okay, so now it's working. I don't know why it wasn't working few minutes back, but now it's working. Now let's try to interpret this. Okay, that's the important part. So we have a value. Okay, so let me call this field weight, and this weight is based on the percentage. For example, the value of the project A is 3,250 and it is 32%, 32.73% of the total value in whole program. That's what it means. If I go down, for example, at phases, phase 2 is not calculated like this because I think it is calculating at the project level. So at project level also I have to come here and apply this field. Seems like it is working like this, but 100. Now if I move back here at ultimate exam, now I can see it working. Okay, so phase 1 project A is 70%, 17% of total project. And why it's important? Because maybe you have a task or you have a phase in a project that has highest value in your project. So when you do the resource assignment, when you want to focus on some point to solve the problems, when you have a limited time, you can just focus on those points that has higher value. We can focus on those points that has the higher weight in your project. Okay, and this what I showed you in this video is a very basic, simple concept of weighting. We have a value, and this value is calculated, the value that we put here for each task. Remember, here we just put a value, right, a number. But normally there is a logic behind this, the system that reach to the point that the value of this task, for example, is 600 and the value of this task is 200, or this one is only 15. There is a logic behind it, and then that logic maybe consider the risk, consider the complexity of work, consider the type of resource that are working on the task, considering the cost. It can also be a cost for weighting. But here in our example, I used only the value, and then I calculated the weight. Basically, I changed the scale from 3,250 out of 9,930 to 32%, 32 out of 100, or basically 32%. Right? I changed the scale and use it in a scale. I changed the scale. The scale here is the value out of 9,930, and here is the value, the percentage, 32% out of 100%. It means that's what I did basically here in field number 1 and number 2. And I explained how important it is, and remember, it's not the only way to do the weighting in the project. Let me show you another approach. Maybe let me insert the cost, and then we can compare. It is nice. So the total cost of the program is 44 million, right? Now let me insert the field cost 1. And let me go into the cost 1. I want cost, total cost, 54,475,123. Okay, use formula. Okay, multiply 1, custom field, and let me do this, multiply 100. Okay, now let me do the same, for example, for project A. I have to do all similar to this one. I need to do this for project B and C. Cost 1. $54 million. How much? $54 million. I don't remember. Let me. Let me. 475. Project A. $475. Okay, now I'm moving to Ultimate. Now I can see the calculation for the project A. But let me try to do it for the project B and C, for both weight and cost, and then we have a better view. Okay, now let me insert number 2. For number 2, custom number 1, 9,930, and multiply by 100. Use formula. Okay, then if you want to do the weighting only inside of the project B, then you need to use these amounts. Okay, you can use another field for weighting inside of only for the project. Cost. Cost. I want total cost 54 and 475. 1, 2, 3, and multiply by 100. Sadly, in Microsoft project, you have to, at least I don't know how, but you, as far as I know, you need to put the manual value. You cannot say writing a code to say, okay, consider the total value of that specific field. It is not like Excel. On Excel it's possible, here it's not, or at least I don't know. If you know, please put it on the comments. It would be nice, because in this case, every time the value change, a user should manually do it. Cost 2. Now it's not working. Why it's not working? I didn't put for the cost. Okay, then project C, insert number 2 for the weight, custom field, formula, number, custom number 1, 9,930, total value. For example, in our case, if you remember the risk task, it has a value. So if the risk happens and you enable the activity, you need to also revise the weighting, because the weight is different on that case. Okay, now cost. Now let me insert cost 1. Now I'm doing this formula, cost 54, 475, 1, 2, 3, multiply 100. Press OK. Use formula. Okay. Now let me save this. If I go to Ultimate Exam now look at the calculation. Okay. So basically, according to the cost. If you want to consider the weight of cost of each project, then project A alone, almost 50% of the total cost in the program belongs to project A, and project B and C, each of them around roughly 25% of the cost. But if you look at the weight from the value, you can see the highest value is project B, but project A has the cost of the project A is 2 times of project B. Okay, this is one approach. One approach is using this weighting system. Another approach is to consider the cost for the weighting to understand which aspect of the project is more important. Another approach is you may want, for example, consider the duration. You may say, okay, not duration only. If you, by the way, if you want to do the duration, it is similar to what I did to the cost. If you don't want to do the duration, then maybe combination of all is also possible for the weighting. Okay, so we have done the weighting. I think I keep the cost. Later on I can show it to you how you can use it. How can you use it for when you want to calculate the work percentage for reporting purpose. And I think we're good for now for this video. We covered risk and we covered weighting. Okay, have a good day and see you later.